on.
Okay, I'm ready whenever you are, I guess.
All right, we are recording and you are spotlit and you're good to go whenever you are.
Okay, so am I speaking to actual guides that are going to be on the river or just people, the public?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. There are definitely
Okay,
those of us who are going to be out on the river. The Grand Canyon River Guides is an association of past, current boaters who are both private and commercial, as well as just river community members. And so you've definitely got the audience of a wide range, Daniel.
okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Mike West, it's hello in Southern Paiute. I guess to get started, you folks may or may not know where the Southern Paiute is located, but the Southern Paiute is located in northern Arizona, the extreme northern, not Flagstaff, joke. It's southern Utah, Nevada, and the Southern Paiute stayed on the north side of the Colorado River traditionally. And we only crossed when we were sharing or we were attending different events. And so we were mostly on the north side. And where I'm at on the Kaibab Paiute Indian Reservation, we're located in northern Arizona, again, the extreme north, and we have a drainage called Kanab Creek that helps connect us to the Grand Canyon. And what I wanted to really touch on today was respect. When you respect things and they respect you back. In my cultural, in the Southern Paiute way, before you go somewhere, even though it might be a new place and it might be a place that you've visited countless times, but you're not there all the time. You're coming as a visitor every time. And so you would want to respect it and give it the respect it deserves. And how you do that is before you let anybody on your boat go up there, the captain or the guide, whoever's leading the expedition, needs to go out and talk to the place that it's going to. When you talk to this place, telling that you're coming in a good way and you're coming to visit and you're bringing people here to learn about this area, you're showing it that respect that it deserves. Plus, you're also showing those people that are in your boat that respect, that you're giving that respect. So when they see you give that respect, they're going to give that same respect to that area. And so in the past, a lot of the river guides give offerings at places, and offerings are really not what you need to be doing down there. What you need to be doing is talking to these places you're going to visit. Offerings kind of clutter things and make things out of balance and not in a good way either. And when once someone sees you put a piece of coin or a plastic or whatever in a certain spot, people are going to keep doing that. Next thing you know, that spot is not necessarily an eyesore, but it becomes very inappropriate to the land, very inappropriate to what you're trying to respect. You're not littering. You're wanting respect, but it turns out to be littering. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. And to you guides that go down the river and take these people, you have different experiences each time you go down, because you go down with different types of people. And they need to know these things. They need to see you practicing these things to show the respect these areas deserve. And once they see that, I think your trips will be a little smoother. And if you're not giving that respect, we in my Southern Paiute culture, nature has a way of teaching you a lesson. And when she teaches you a lesson, it's going to hurt. Something's going to happen to you, and you're going to bleed, or she's going to make you feel what you're doing is wrong, because nature is like that. She may seem cruel, but it's telling you that you're doing something wrong. And if you are doing something wrong, then you would step back a minute, talk to the area again. Don't give it no offering, just talk to it. Tell them you're sorry. Maybe you leave, or maybe you explain why you're there, and then once you explain why you're there, you can proceed forward. And so respect given is respect earned. It goes both ways. People see you giving respect, they're going to give you respect. And a lot of we hear a lot of these different stories of river guides and boatmans and expeditions that go down that aren't giving the land and aren't giving the area the respect that it deserves. And a lot of times I'm pretty sure they don't come back. That's how powerful that canyon is, and that river is. And the river too, the water, that's one of our sacred elements. We have 4 sacred elements. All Native Americans have 4 sacred elements, fire, wind, air, and water. And these sacred elements, they can give you life and they can take your life. That's why they're so sacred and special. So you give that water the respect that it deserves, saying hello to it, touching it, talking to it at these different points, at these different stops, because water is just like has its own his own personality and its own. You see it along the river. You see where it's calm and content, and you see where it's rough and mean, and then you can see where it's a little rough, but it's actually calm. It has its own life, and you see that every time you go down. And that life changes as the weather changes, and you can see it react just like people would react to different things. So being a river guide is a privilege. It's not a job, it's a privilege. And those river guides that have been there for years, they know this. They see the change. They see how we're connected, and that's why they keep coming back. They've made that connection. And once you've made that connection with the canyon, with the river, it doesn't want to let you go, and you don't want to let it go. It's like, it's like more or less a love connection, basically, because you love and respect what you're doing and where you're at. And so, that's I'm not sure how much time I have left.
You have about 10 minutes, Daniel, so
okay,
you can either take some questions or keep chatting with us.
Okay. Again, just show the respect that it's just that the area deserves, and talk. Don't be afraid to talk. If you're religious, say a little prayer in your religion, whatever you believe. And if you're not, talk and explain why you're there. And please don't leave any offerings, because that makes a really big mess down there. And when we do our monitoring trips, sometimes we see some of the places. The idea is good and the thought's good, but it's good. It's better just to talk to the area and let it know why you're there, and what you're going to be doing there. And And there may be situations too where you go to an area and you do that, what I'm asking you to do, and you're still having these problems. The simplest thing is just to get up, move to the left or the right, maybe 100 yards, 50 to 100 yards, and you should be okay. Sometimes we get on these trails that are my ancestors and the people that use the Colorado River still use, we in their spiritual journeys, and they don't like people on those, so they'll bother you or they'll make things happen. And you just move out of their way and you'll be perfectly fine. Just a tip. But hopefully you guys listen and practice a little bit what I've mentioned, and your trips may go a little smoother this year. I think that's about it. That's all I have.
Daniel, you've given us some great takeaways. I'd love to invite folks maybe to have a call and response. Are there questions out there or reflections on what Daniel has offered? Feel free to raise your hand or come off mute. You can also share in the chat. We'll be watching as well. So anyone would love to invite someone.
Daniel, I have a question. You had mentioned specifically Kanab Creek as a place that is a connector directly to the Paiute tribe. Are there other places that you would say are of particular significance? Obviously, the whole canyon is of significance, but are there other places like Kanab Creek that are kind of that really specific connector, Deer Creek or other places like that, perhaps?
Yeah, well, Kanab Creek is only connecting the Kaibab band that runs right into our reservation. So that's what I meant by connecting, not the whole Southern, just the Kaibab Paiute band. And of course, we have different areas of special concern that we watch and we monitor. And we would just like to keep that to ourselves at this point. And only reason we're doing that is because we're in a monitoring stage and we want to see how the different other river trips affect these areas of cultural significance to the Southern Paiutes. And we usually turn that into a report at the end of the year to our funding agency, and we have discussion and dialogue with them of what should be done and not done at these areas. So to answer your question, the whole canyon is affects us.
Thank you, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, we have one in the chat from Joel. Joel, I wonder if I might invite you to come off of mute and ask that question to Daniel.
Yeah, so first let me say I'm not Native American, so please correct me if I shouldn't be using this, but I did learn this from some Native friends who I had done some sweats with when I was growing up. And in Lakota, and he was Navajo, but in Lakota, he said that the Prayer of Matakuyo is all my relations, and it kind of speaks to some of the things you talked about just now. And so I was kind of curious if there was a similar prayer that might be a little more representative of the tribes in the canyon that we could say in reverence.
So there is, but that's just among my people, and how we perceive it to the river guides is do it in the way that's comfortable with you. You're speaking from your heart. You're speaking from what we call your puwa, which is your soul, your spirit, because you're connecting to that area that you're about to visit or you're about to stay at. So if you speak from the heart and you speak to why you are there, it don't matter which language, or it don't matter which saying that you're saying, because you're connecting with it spiritually, physically, and mentally. That's coming from you, the captain of the river guide that's out there.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
Other questions? We have a few more minutes.
And so
Daniel,
again,
also have some gratitude coming to you in the
Okay.
chat from a variety of folks. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
oh no, just in closing, that again, share and show respect. Respect will be appreciated and shown back to you in little subtle ways. It's when you're out there on the river in the water, these subtle things are going to happen to you as a river guide or as a participant, as long as you're showing this respect. And again, if you don't show it respect, other things that negative are going to happen to you. So again, respect. When you show respect, other people watch you and they'll give that same respect. And be safe and have fun.
And something I'm hearing from both you, Daniel, as well as Ophelia, is that it's not just our words and our thoughts, but it's really our actions speak very loudly. And when we're down there, not just what you've highlighted a few times, which I really appreciated, how much we need to be models for our clients for how to behave there, because they are watching us, absolutely. But also just in general, to know that our actions, whether someone is seeing it or not, are so important while we're down there. So thank you so much, both of you.
Great. You're welcome.
Thanks, Daniel. All right. So this leads us into